Corey Feldman has indicated that he might name a prominent Hollywood mogul as an abuser of kids. And also, I've noticed all these signs have come out in the press. Like his name just kept popping up as though he'd been quietly indicating to people, as is so often the case before somebody does something. They just sort of start seeding that they're going to say something with friends and associates and journalists, that he might be gearing up to violate whatever he signed and point the finger. And then suddenly he gets arrested on marijuana charges out of nowhere before a show. Like anyone gets arrested on marijuana charges and put it. And first of all, it was described as an unknown drug offense to suggest to people it was worse than it was. Right. People started nosing about, asking questions like, "Oh, well, it's just marijuana." And it's like, well, you arrested Corey Feldman on marijuana and put him in jail, really, in California, or whatever it was. You know, why? Right. Give me a timeline. You have some of the best instincts in the business. I think you and I both were on the money about the contours of Gamergate, you know, how long it was going to take for it to crest and all the rest of it. Give us a sense in your view of how this spectacular implosion, which is going to involve women, children, all this kind of stuff that people simply will not tolerate at all, is going to play out. We've already seen, for instance, last weekend, takings at the box office are nosediving, and it cannot be unconnected to what's happening with Weinstein. People are just not prepared to reward Hollywood in its entirety with their money, with what is a huge amount of money. You know how much it is to go to the theater these days? You know, you go to iPick or something, and
like
you want to
15, 16 bucks a ticket.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And you have to drive, and you get food there and everything, and the whole thing is like ends up being like 50, 75 each. You know, it's a lot of money. It's a lot. And you can well, I mean, it's either a lap dance or you could just stay home and pay, you know, 13 bucks on iTunes. It's a lot to ask of people these days. And suddenly the box office take is just evaporating. Give us your prediction for how the next kind of year or two is going to play out.
So I think they gave Harvey Weinstein to the wolves because the pedophilia stuff was about to break. Because it's been proven now the media covered up for decades for Harvey Weinstein. Well, why now, right? So I think the pedophile stuff was about to break. They knew it, so they want to give...
So they threw him under the bus.
Yeah, Weinstein. The reason I know it was going to break is I had a very prominent child actor come to me and say, "I want to break this story with you." It's like, "I'm going to do it with you." And I was super excited. I was like, let's do it. And then he goes, "Dude, I'm getting followed." And that's what happens. That's what people on the outside, they go, "Why don't you just say you got raped or you're going to let other kids get hurt?" Very easy to judge. But they tap their phones. They tap the phones of these victims, and then they find out if they're messaging people, and then they start following them and everything. So I would be shocked if we don't have a big pedophile scandal within 6 months.
I have been in touch with a very famous actor who used to be a child star, I had an experience very similar, which is, you know, he said, "I know that you saw some stuff and you weren't really sure about it." And I said, "Well, I didn't know. I knew that I didn't like it very much, and I moved out of Hollywood very quickly because I didn't want any part of whatever I thought I was, you know, seeing the first hints of. So I got out of there. I didn't. Anyway, he said, you know, this stuff. There's a lot more to it, and I'm ready to say something. And then one day I just stopped hearing from him, you know. And he's not in trouble. He's doing fine. Like I see him in the press and the rest of it. But then one day it was just like gone.
Right.
I suspect something similar happened.
Right.
Corey Feldman getting arrested for marijuana. It's just a warning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
like a warning
to
shot.
throw a guy in jail, a weed ticket. Who even gets weed tickets anymore? And that was the message they were sending, is that we'll frame you. Well, you know, we'll frame you for anything.
Yeah, we got you on dope, which you probably didn't even have on you, which means if we can get to the police in that way for that, we can just pay more and get them to do anything.
Yeah, I think they planted the drugs on him. Yeah. That's what they do, is you pull them over for a traffic offense.
And just chuck it in the car.
We found a little baggie of weed, and then you arrest the guy. It doesn't add up. So I think the police have probably paid off and planted it.